What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I've got a quick video just breaking down the new Pickaxe melee weapon in Black Ops 6. This one is available in the Beavis and Butthead event, and I'm just going to be diving deep into the stats and putting it side by side with all of the other melee weapons in the game to see how it stacks up and whether or not it's really worth using relative to the others. And without further ado, let's dive right into this with our standard attack. So this is not the charged attack where you aim down sight first and it locks them into an animation. This is just your regular swing with the pickaxe. When doing this, we deal 135 damage to our target, meaning it'll be a one-hit kill in core game modes. And we've got a pretty standard pre-hit delay at 250 milliseconds. This is the amount of time it takes from the moment you press the button to the moment you actually hit, or in this case, kill the enemy player. And in this short period of time, they can technically fight back. Then after that, something that's not super relevant, but it's always important to look at anyway, is the time between two hits with this. It's really only relevant in this case if you run into two enemies side by side, since it will be a one-hit kill against each of them. And unfortunately, this is quite slow for this game at 775 milliseconds. So definitely doesn't excel there, but as I said, this doesn't matter all that much for the pickaxe in the vast majority of situations. The pre-hit delay is a far more important value here. And then I would say most important of all, we have our lunge range, which is 2.1 meters, and that's good for this game. It's not the best, but it's up there, and it is one of the better ones in this game. And it has the same maximum hit angle, so you can be aiming 30 degrees off target, and it will still lock on and snap to the target as long as you're within that melee range. So just looking at this standard attack relative to the other one-hit kill melee weapons, it turns out this is one of the better ones in the game now. Because you might notice there's only one-hit kill melee weapon with a better lunge range than this, and that is the bow staff. We get a 2.3 meter lunge range on that one. However, the trade-off there is we have a 300 millisecond pre-hit delay, and also a longer time between two hits, but not as relevant. That pre-hit delay does make a bit of a difference, and as a result, I think there's a decent argument for using the pickaxe compared to the bow staff, but really that does come down to your personal preference and how much you're willing to sacrifice in the pre-hit delay department or range department. Now, in saying all of that, that's just with the standard attack. We also have a charged attack with the pickaxe, just like with most of the melee weapons in this game. And with this, you activate it by essentially aiming down sight first, and then when you release, it will perform this charged attack, which locks you and your enemy into an animation. During that animation, they can't fight back, but you're also stuck in that animation as well, so it leaves you vulnerable to being shot by their teammates. And in order to get charged up before this charge attack, it only takes 100 milliseconds with the pickaxe. It's a very, very quick charge time. However, after that charge attack, when you release it, the amount of time it takes before it actually kills the enemy player, so the amount of time that you're vulnerable for, is exactly 1 second. So 1100 milliseconds overall if we're factoring the charge time in as well, if we don't go into that situation pre-charged. Which, in all, isn't really all that out of the ordinary. Also, our lunge range here is pretty standard for most of the charge attacks in this game at 2.1 meters. So you really aren't even gaining any benefit here, and since this is a one-hit kill melee weapon without a charged attack, there's really no good reason to ever use the charged attack with the pickaxe. But I just wanted to make sure I was being thorough and sharing these stats for you. Stick with the standard attack, and you'll have just as much range, and you'll be killing them significantly faster. And that just leaves us with one final section I wanted to talk about here, and this is mobility. And just like with every melee weapon in the game, Treyarch has deliberately kept all of the mobility values exactly the same because they don't want you choosing your melee weapon based on how fast it gets you from point A to point B relative to the others. They want you to make your decisions based on all of the other stats that I covered today, like your damage or your lunge range or how effective it is with your charged attack. And in the case of the pickaxe, if we're just using the standard attack, like I said, I don't recommend ever using the charge attack. With the standard attack, it's actually a really good all-arounder. I would say one of the better one-hit kill melee weapons in the game right now. I still think the bow staff is probably going to be the #1 choice for a lot of people just to maximize that lunge range, even though it's going to take you an extra 50 milliseconds to hit your target. But it's really just your call at this point, and I would say there are some nice balanced trade-offs there, and the pickaxe is actually quite solid. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about the pickaxe so far in Black Ops 6? Do you guys really like this melee weapon? Do you plan on using it in the future? Or not so much? Would you rather use one of the others? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.